Please welcome Points of Light board member, Pamela Norley.
Oh! Good afternoon, New Orleans. Here we are. Unbelievable. Last session of the day. So good afternoon, and I am so pleased to welcome everyone to the final session of the day. AI meets social good. We're deeply grateful to the KPMG Foundation for sponsoring this Civic talk and for their continued partnership and innovation in leading this effort. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is reshaping our world, from how we learn and work to how we connect and create change. But it's more than a technological leap. It's a tool with the power to transform how social good is imagined and delivered. Whether you're a community organizer, a nonprofit, or a corporate change maker, AI can help you approach complex challenges with fresh perspectives, enhancing collaboration, increasing efficiency, and unlocking new possibilities. Today's session, we're going to dive into how AI is strengthening cross-sector partnerships, streamlining operations, and freeing up time for the work that matters most, that mission-critical impact. You'll hear real-world examples, practical insights, and lessons learned that can guide your own journey no matter where you are on the path with AI. Our speakers today represent a range of experiences, each at different stages in exploring and incorporating AI into their work. You're going to hear a variety of perspectives, lessons learned, and ideas as we navigate this evolving landscape together. So please welcome to the stage Anita Whitehead, Taylor Sheed, Eleonora Tortori Makesh, Sarah Link, and Tom Gibbs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's the last session of the day, and I'm so excited that we actually have a full crowd, so thank you. So I'm here representing KPMG and the KPMG Foundation. I have the pleasure of managing our foundation and also our client work with nonprofits and companies, all supporting our good work around philanthropic strategies, navigating the challenges in today's regulatory updates. But within this, we are also helping organizations think through AI. So as the leader of the KPMG Foundation, our mission is to support organizations that focus on education, mental health, and community vitality. We believe in the collaboration and innovation to create this lasting impact. And last year, we launched our AI Impact Initiative. Through this initiative, we're working with our AI teams to assist nonprofit organizations in adopting trusted AI frameworks and implementation strategies. For example, last year we helped Big Brothers Big Sisters of Puget Sound to use AI to reduce the time it takes to match mentors with mentees, enhancing their ability to really connect individuals quicker and more efficiently. So today I ask you to think boldly about how AI can transform your work and amplify your impact. And together we'll explore the possibilities and drive meaningful change in our communities. Thank you again for being here, and let's get started. So I'm excited to be with all of you today. I was told I was the glue that brought this panel together. And I've worked with all of them and met them in all different kinds of capacities. We're living, obviously, in a time where AI can enhance everything from operations to outreach. But in mission-driven organizations, the approach isn't always about speed. It's about alignment, responsibility, and impact. So let's start by grounding ourselves in the present. And as you tell us about your organization, could you also share a bit about where your organization is in the AI journey? Eleonora?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for having us. Caring Kind is one of the oldest charities that supports family caregiving for those impacted by Alzheimer's disease and related dementia. And we're also the organization that provides support and innovative programs for those recently diagnosed through the entire journey. We have had the ability to utilize AI, myself personally and through Caring Kind's work in the healthcare space. Everything from bringing robotics to nursing services to reduce the time, the custodial sort of clinical custodial time, and so that we actually have more person time as opposed to really focusing on the details of the work that AI can actually support administratively. And also, Caring Kind has also just started to lean into AI because as a nonprofit, resources are always top of mind in reducing staff, again, administrative time, and leaning into how to produce more fundraising initiatives through the use of AI, and really starting at the top level of having board representatives really help guide us on doing this. And we can talk more about that. Thank you.
My name's Tom Gibbs. I'm the education manager at the Gary Sinise Foundation. The Gary Sinise Foundation is a veteran service organization founded by actor and humanitarian Gary Sinise. How many people have seen Forrest Gump? Maybe? Yeah, okay, all right, good. We support our nation's military veterans, first responders, their families, and those in need. And we do this in a variety of ways. In terms of where we're at on our AI journey, this might be the start of it, me sitting here. We are an organization that has loosely discussed it, but not in any formal way. And I'm really excited to be here today to learn from some of our fellow panelists here about how we can improve and begin that journey.
Hi, everyone. I am Sarah Link, and in my role as the Global Head of Employee Impact at IBM, I have the honor of deploying our 280,000 employees around the world through volunteerism and giving to help solve some of our world's biggest challenges and make a deep impact in communities around the world. Building on IBM's decades-long research in AI, we are deploying enterprise-wide solutions using that type of technology. And with volunteerism being core to our culture at IBM, we thought that there was really no better way to think about how we can combine our technology and then the employee talent that we have to bring solutions not only to our business clients, but to nonprofit organizations. So.
Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor Shedd. I'm the founder and CEO of Stimuli. Taylor from Texas is how you can remember me. Like I said, I'm the founder and CEO of a company. And I dropped out of college about 15 years ago with one mission to see how technology could be used to transform human potential. So as far as where Stimuli is in using AI, I personally am an avid AI user, and as the CEO of the company, I have like no brakes on. I'm going hard and fast, and how I use AI in my daily task and how I use it to help me understand people and to be the most efficient, most productive, and most compelling as I can possibly be. As far as the work that we do at Stimuli, we have one mission, and we want to educate the future and change the world. And the way that we're doing that is by implementing AI across every aspect of our business. I've seen my head of operations all of a sudden become an engineer because he can use different technologies to code. But ultimately, we're using AI because we want to be able to provide a personalized learning experience for every kid on the planet. So the last thing I'll quickly say is last year, about a year ago, Stimuli won the United Nations AI for Good Global Award. And so, we represent the United States across the world and how AI can be used for good. So I look forward to sharing with you a little bit more about how we're doing that, how we're staying competitive globally, and we want to, America first, we want to win. But the bottom line is our kids have been poorly educated for years, and I love educators. But right now, we have 90% of our kids graduating high school, and only 25% of them are proficient in math, and about 20% of them are ready for college and the workforce. So If any of you are feeling like you don't know AI, that's one thing, but we also have the next generation that we need to make sure are educated so we can remain globally competitive.
So when we talk about AI, the headlines focus on what's possible, but sometimes the more powerful conversation is about what's not possible. So we're going to focus on sort of what our dreams are for AI. So Eleanor, let's start with you. You're in a moment of strategic transformation. What does it mean to embed AI into a new strategic plan from the beginning? And what's the vision and what resources have you aligned to support it?
So as we start to build out our next 3-year strategic plan, we've sort of taken our learnings, and you're not the only one that sort of dabbled in, I think a lot of us dabbled in, with AI sort of tiptoeing. But for healthcare, caring kind particularly, we needed to solve social isolation during COVID and workforce issues in nursing homes and in all of the assisted livings across the country. And so we sort of were forced into the use of robotics, and what we learned was that human behavior, humans, have to adapt, and I think that's the harder part of the AI piece. So in the new strategic plan, because when I had a fleet of Temmies, and I was going to bring a Temmie, but it was not possible on the airplane, but Temmie, I have a Temmie that actually lives with me at my home, and what I learned was that as humans, we have to really, we have to accept that this is a part of our future and really learn about the possibilities. And so in our new strategic plan, it's really investing in humans, not so much investing in the AI piece, because the AI piece, the equipment, the trainings, that's a given. It's investing in my social workers, in my nurses, so that when I go into a building and I see that the Temmies are in the corner, they're not going to be in the corner. They're going to be next to their computer, next to their desk, or they're already on the floor, assigned to clients. And so I think really investing in human behavior and how do we help humans lean into the AI experience to really teach them that it's not a threat, that it will actually make their jobs better so that they can lean into the things that they're really good at when we remove some of that administrative stuff.
So Taylor, you've got a national perspective when it comes to students, education, and the future workforce. What are you dreaming about when you think of an AI literate society, and where are we falling short as a country in making that dream real?
Yeah, it's a great question. What am I dreaming about? I am dreaming about a world where kids play a video game and they show up to school smarter. And in that world, it starts with a student accessing our platform. It could be on a phone, it could be on a Chromebook, any device that accesses the internet. The student answers questions about who they are, careers that they're interested in, who is their favorite coach or mentor, and they spend their entire lifetime on a learning journey that's aided by AI in a video game. So if you just think about that vision, I like to think about Disneyland or Disney World. What if all of us had our own personalized amusement park that was just tailored to who we are, where we were, what are we strong at, what are we weak at, and every day it was guiding us and reminding us who we can be. That's something that by and far is not happening for every learner across the nation. And it's not something that is like, oh, we need to do a better job in elementary schools, or oh, we need our community colleges to be better. The truth is, the entire education system needs to transform. So one thing I'll quickly say is a project that we're most excited about leverages public and private partnerships. We were funded by the Heartland Forward organization to scale AI literacy curriculum through our video game to 20 states across the Heartland. So a little bit later, I'll tee up a video where you all can see just some flash clips of what this video game looks like, but the sneak peek is it feels like Fortnite.
All right, Tom, you said you were early on the AI journey, But you've obviously seen the possibilities in several mission areas: smart homes, education, donor engagement. If you had unlimited resources or no barrier, what's one initiative, AI initiative, you would scale?
I think, first off, the top-down question is how can AI help our freedom providers, right? How can it help people who are coming back from a war zone or need support or need something like a smart home? So I think there's that broad question, right? And if there is an answer, if the answer is yes, of course, we're going to dive in. But I think furthermore, it goes into like a philanthropy/programs discussion. I think there's a huge opportunity, especially with the challenges of our donor base, to use AI to analyze different trends, different patterns, ways for us to be smarter about how we approach acquiring our funds. We're not a brick and mortar business charging a ticket. We rely on the generosity of the American people, and so we want to find where those generous Americans are, and if AI can help us do that, we're all for it. On the programmatic side, I think we have a lot to do there. I'm trying to narrow it down in my head, but just making us more efficient. We deal with a lot of things like, we deal with families of the fallen, so we're dealing with young kids, 14, 15. We deal with very sensitive medical information. We deal with sensitive government information, and so we just want to make sure moving forward we're protecting that, but we're also using AI to analyze that and make us better. So that's where I see it going. But again, I think there is a real opportunity here to help our nation's veterans, and if AI can help with that, then we're about it.
Sarah, what inspired IBM to launch the AI Impact Initiative?
Yeah, so just thinking about the work that we do, whether it's with IBM Skills Build. Actually, just to get a show of hands, how many people, raise your hand if you have heard of IBM Skills Build? Great, so thank you. Good to see some hands raised. And that's our free online platform that is available to teach technology skills. So I will definitely encourage everyone to take advantage of that. But following on from the work there, we saw that there was this opportunity to really break down some of the misconceptions that might exist around AI and to think about the ways that our nonprofit partners could better utilize AI to help make them more productive, to think about the ways they can use it for grant writing, to connect with volunteers, and to really enhance their productivity, freeing up their team's time to focus more on their missions. So we decided, what if we brought together employees and technologists from around the world and had them help to create a curriculum that could then be deployed to not only our nonprofit partners, but any nonprofit partners. And so a few months ago, we launched this program, and it's taught all by our IBM volunteers, and we've brought in so far hundreds of organizations to our headquarters to be able to bring them together. And what we're learning is, there are some organizations that have already started to deploy AI, some that are thinking about it, and some that just have a lot of questions. And what we've found is that bringing these groups together, they're getting so much value just by connecting with others and not feeling so alone, and feeling, the ability to ask the questions and how they can begin to implement these within their organizations.
So let's move to risk and innovation. Innovation always involves some level of risk. I think risk is one of the favorite topics at KPMG also. But especially when a tool is powerful and fast evolving as AI, how are you each navigating that tension in your work, and where do you draw the line between being bold and being responsible? And Sarah, let's start with you.
Sure. So at IBM, this really comes down to responsible innovation. So how are we thinking about the ways that technology is being built that is not only not having a negative impact on society, but having a positive impact on society? Being built with trust as a foundation, and ensuring that products that are being deployed are fair and they are not biased. And so we think about that as a foundation, and this is something that's really been core to who the company is. We were actually the first technology company to implement an AI ethics board that exists today that looks at every single product that's being created and understands what the potential risks could be and works both internally as well as advising clients to think about how to mitigate that risk. So as the products are being built, as they're being developed, and as they're being deployed, we're looking at the ethics component across all of those pieces. And then through our training, that is something that we bring back to the organizations and the training itself to think about. It shouldn't be an afterthought. The ethics and the responsibility needs to be built into the foundation. So when this is being created, that we know that it's built on that solid ground.
Taylor, let's start.
Yeah, I love to tell stories and analogies, so bear with me here as I jump around a little bit. So I want you all to think about if we were to go grocery shopping. Would I be able to grocery shop for your family? Probably not, right? I have no idea who your family is, what they need, what they like. That is my analogy on why all of us need to embrace AI and the benefit of unique, diverse people embracing technology. And so I give you that example because when you think about speed and responsibility and risk, I think the biggest risk to our nation right now is the fact that there are millions of kids sitting in classrooms every day that are not being educated. So is it a bigger risk to not get a technology in their hands that can educate them and prepare them for the workforce, or is it a bigger risk to sit on our hands and say, well, we're going to wait for it to mature, and we're going to wait for it to mature? Well, the news flash is if we wait, we're going to continue to drop in the scale of where we are with global competitiveness. So at Stimuli, how we're addressing this specifically is kind of two sides. We probably are one of the fastest iterating companies that you have ever met. We just completed a 12-week and 12 iteration cycles alongside our customers, students. And so on Saturdays, we meet with these kids. We have them testing a portion of our product or a feature. We gather data from them. They submit data and videos to us on a Monday, and it's shared with our product team that are then innovating throughout the week and then releasing a next iteration of that feature to get in the hands of those kids. So that's the bold part. We're moving really fast, and we're speaking with our users. As far as how to de-risk it, we have funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I believe they're called the Gates Foundation now.
Yep.
And essentially, they have given us millions of dollars to work alongside the largest school districts in the United States so we can analyze all the different use cases and edge cases of AI. So, you know, me personally, I think we're in a race. I don't think we have the time that some of us think that we have in order to educate our kids. I see a widening gap. We've talked about accessibility gaps. We've talked about income gaps. There's so many gaps we've talked about that I believe are all solved by having a better, more educated workforce. And so that's the way we're balancing it at Stimuli. We're being bold. I want to be first. I want to IPO. When you think about a big tech company, I don't want you to think about Mark, Bill, Steve. I want you to think about a Taylor. And so